Well, we're joined by Irene Lozano, the Spanish Secretary of State for Global Affairs. She's in London as part of a counter-campaign against Spanish independence. Also joining us is the former Greek finance minister and author of Adults in the Room, My Battle with Europe's Deep Establishment, Yanis Varoufakis. Thank you both very much for joining us. Yanis Varoufakis first. I mean, Jean-Claude Juncker said no chance of reopening negotiations. I mean, you know this power play very well. Should we take him at face value?
Yes, I think we should, because Jean-Claude Juncker and the European Commission do not have a mandate to negotiate the withdrawal agreement. Potentially, if Mrs. May were prepared to go all the way down to the cliff's edge on the 29th of March, then, of course, the European Union has done this many times before, the 11th hour, maybe they would have come up with some kind of fudge, some kind of concessions, but there is no way that even if some concessions are in the offing, they would be made before Theresa May's own cliff edge, which is much earlier than the 29th of March. All she has secured in the last 48 hours was a reprise of 2 weeks. Yeah. By that time, the European Commission has absolutely no means or any interest in giving her something.
Right. Well, let's look at, because we're looking at it from the UK's point of view, obviously, the focus what happens here. Let's look at the jeopardy for the EU in the event of a no deal. What's the jeopardy for the EU?
Well, the EU must preserve the single market. The single market is more fragile than it seems. And any breach of it at any part of the European Union is going to be detrimental to the interests of those who are trading within the single market. So Mrs. Theresa May made a colossal error when she triggered Article 50 without having a plan of what she would do on the 29th of March 2019 if a deal had not been reached. And then she compounded that by accepting the two-phase negotiation of Mr. Barnier. First, she gives up everything, and then there is a discussion about the long term. Once she was in that rut, now she has a very simple choice, either to continue the chicken game with her own members of parliament, to get them to sign on the dotted line, or to go Jeremy Corbyn's way of accepting the customs union as a backstop instead of the backstop.
And potentially break up her own party. From where you look, where we are sitting now, do you think a no deal looks most likely?
I'm afraid it does. Because let us not forget that it does not matter whether a majority of members of parliament or a majority of the British people do not want no deal. It is the default. The train is moving towards the cliff's edge, and if there is no deal, that is the terrible fate awaiting. Well, and I think that the next generations are not going to forgive us if we allow this.
The next generation not going to forgive you if you allow a no deal. Well, Irene Lozano, you're nodding your head at that. I mean, your view is a no deal is most likely.
Yeah, especially as Varoufakis was saying, because it's the default option. So if nothing new happens, and it seems it's not going to happen, then the no deal exit will take place. And I think that as Varoufakis said, the European Union is very clear in their position. I think the unity of all the members is quite clear about not reopening the withdrawal agreement. And I think there is that the Prime Minister has a problem in their country, but the European Union doesn't have a problem with the deal. So,
well, it's interesting, just to come back to you, Yanis Varoufakis, for a moment. It's quite interesting from the point of view of Greece. Philippe Lambert, the MEP, who I'm sure you know because he was on the steering committee, said the EU won't blink because Greece was about keeping the integrity of the monetary union, and this is about keeping the integrity of the single market. And he's exactly right about that, isn't he?
Well, I'm afraid in our case, the integrity of the Eurozone was not preserved by what happened in Greece, but that's another matter. Let me say that the European Union has a huge interest in preventing a no-deal Brexit. Let's not forget that the trade surplus of the Eurozone with the United Kingdom is about 140 billion euros every year. This is not to be scoffed at, but the European Union feels more fragile daily. and they would much rather jeopardize a trade surplus
Well,
and
that's
massive
interesting.
economic pain than the integrity of the single market.
Do you think, Irene, that the EU feels more fragile every moment?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't agree. I think, of course, there is an interest, and the EU and Michel Barnier has proved an interest to negotiate and to find an agreement and to avoid a no-deal Brexit. But the thing is that the European Union is a political project, and the political project is not. It's something you have to take or leave. It's not a supermarket where you go and pick up the things you like.
But there is an element of, as it were, horse trading. And if Theresa May was to manage to reopen the withdrawal agreement, there might be something in it for Spain, because it is all about trading. And two of the key issues in all this has been, obviously, fishing and Gibraltar. And there is some argument to say that if you open it up, then people would ask for different things, and Spain might ask for joint sovereignty over Gibraltar, might it?
Yeah, but I think it's more important to this could be, this could be a bargain, and this could be an Arab market, but it's more important to preserve the unity of all the members that have agreed in this withdrawal agreement. Because, as I said, the political project of the EU is more important. The British people said we want to leave the EU, and the EU tried to help to find the door to find a way out. So it would be a bit silly now to say we don't want to see the way out. The way out is there, and is the agreement.
So, but who is running the show? Is it the EU 27, or is Angela Merkel in pole position? Is she really running the show?
Well, I think one of the most successful parts of all this period and all this Brexit issue for the EU has been to be able to have a position and to keep the position. I remember when the result of the referendum was known, that we, the people who are pro-European, as I am and my government is, we were afraid that this would be a big, hard hit for the EU, for the European project. But I think the result, almost 2 years later, is that the EU is stronger than it was before.
And how does Spain actually look at Britain now? What do you think of Britain now?
Well, we are sad. Actually, we are sad. I am sad myself. I studied in Britain when I was very young, and Spain has lots of links with the United Kingdom.
And you're making bilateral agreements just now, aren't you, at the moment?
Yes, that's right. We have lots of things in common. We are going to keep having them. I hope we can find with the UK in the international fora, and we can, of course, we share values. We can fight together for things that are worth it, like human rights or climate change. This is not the end of the world. It's just it will be completely different. And I think it's very positive that the recent agreement for the right to vote for both citizens, British and Spanish, is a good way forward.
Yanis Varoufakis, you've got a lot of knowledge of this. Do you think the EU is a bully?
Well, they were in the case of Greece, but let me say that my lamentation is about the lost opportunity that we have experienced the last 2 years. The Brexit result, which I opposed, I opposed Brexit, but nevertheless, I was hoping that it would be a cause within the European Union to rethink our democratic deficit, our very large democratic deficit in Europe, and for the Brits, for you folks, to rethink the arrangements of your own constitution and your own polity. And it seems to me that we are both on the continent of Europe and in the United Kingdom, we are missing out on this opportunity. British politics is becoming poisoned. The British Constitution is in a state of disrepair, and at the same time, Brexit is being utilized in Brussels in particular in order to gang together and in order to avoid within the European Union the discussion about our democratic deficit.
Right, let me put that very briefly. I don't have much time. Let me put that to Irene, that actually the chance, now what's happened is that the discussion about reforming the EU to counter what Yanis said is a democratic deficit is not happening.
Well, that's why I think we don't have to avoid chronifying the Brexit issue. I mean, it has a period of 2 years. We have been lots of energy and European efforts has been devoted to this issue, and this should find an end, whatever it is. And I want it to be the best for both parts. But
do you think the EU needs reform?
Yeah, probably. We need to strengthen the political project, and we need to finish one issue and then go to the next screen. And I hope it will be the political union and strengthening these political ties.
Thank you both very much indeed.